Hi guys. So today's lesson now. Last Thursday, I've gone through this with you already. Sungmin, can you close your laptop, please? Just look up here. Last lesson, we gone through the basic terms already, and I have shown you. Now, in the class website, there are examples of the P-Plants cross. This is part of the syllabus. You do need to know the P-Plant cross is an example. You have the test cross. The idea of test crossing is basically you have an individual which you're not sure which genotype they have. So to find out, you cross that with someone with a homozygous recessive genotype. Okay, so this concept is talked about in the video here. In this video here, in pretty much the first quarter of it, they do talk about the test crossing. So someone that have the dominant phenotype trait, but you don't know exactly which genotype, so you cross it on purpose with an individual that has homozygous recessive trait. And then you look at the number of offsprings they have and look at the ratios that will help you to determine what this person's genotype is. Okay, so that's what it is. Essentially, what I did on the board earlier when I was talking about earwax, come and think of it, is almost like a test crossing. Granted, we are not just having that many children just to determine that one gene. Okay? Yes, I really want to know my wife's earwax genotype that well. Let's have many children just for that. No. Anyways, that's an awful bad reason. Also, we have talked about, now, cystic fibrosis. I'm going to talk about it. It's a genetic disease. Now, we have done this We have done this example, Punnett square example, last Thursday. Here's a video of that, of going over this recessive trait and Punnett square with cystic fibrosis. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is really the rest of the stuff. We're going to talk about Huntington disease. We're going to talk about codominance, blood types. We're going to try to talk about Sexlinked, and maybe if we have enough time, talk about pedigree chart. We'll see how it goes. Now, most of these genetic disease or genetic conditions are recessive traits. Okay, most of them are recessive trait, like cystic fibrosis. But there is an example of a dominant type of genetic disease, Huntington disease. Huntington disease is pretty much the only big example that you need to know for your syllabus, that it is a dominant genetic disorder or disease. Well, disorder. Let's just call it disorder. You can't really catch it. Okay. To me, disease is something that you can get infected from it. You can't. It's passed down from genetics. So this one, it is a dominant trait. It is a dominant trait, and the allele for it will essentially be a capital H. Okay, so people who have it will have Huntington disease. Whereas if you have small h, you'll be normal or healthy. Now, looking at this right now, because it is a dominant trait, which means the following. If you have two capital H, if you have capital H, small h, two small h's, it means for these two people, they will have this Huntington disease. Whereas you have to be homozygous recessive to be healthy. If you compare this let's just say compare with cystic fibrosis, and slightly a revision. Cystic fibrosis, it is a recessive trait. So in this case, what was the symbol we used for cystic fibrosis? F, big F, small f, right? Okay. So in this case, cystic fibrosis, big F, you're healthy, where small f, you have cystic fibrosis. So in this case, big F, small f to small f. So it's only the small f that you have cystic fibrosis, healthy, and you have healthy, but you are also a carrier of the gene. Okay? So if you think about this and you look at this two scenario, Huntington's disease, if you do Punnett square, you will see a much more larger percentage of offspring having Huntington's disease versus cystic fibrosis because it is carried by a recessive gene. Okay? Also another thing, this is where if it is a disorder or disease that's carried by a recessive trait, that's the only place you can see a carrier. Because in a disease or a trait that's carried by a dominant gene, you can't have a carrier. Your heterozygous genotype will give you the disease already. Okay, so it's only disease that has a recessive trait you can get a carrier versus dominant genes ones you don't. Now, thankfully, most genetic disorders are carried out by, it only happens in a recessive trait. That is one reason why inbreeding, having kids with your close relatives is always not a good idea, not just because it's against the law. Genetically speaking, it is in a situation where two individuals that are related to each other, having kids together, the chances of these homozygous recessive trait pops up, it's a much higher chance than two individuals from nowhere closely related having kids together. Okay? Genetically, it is a problem. That is also why, for example, if people want to have a purebred dog, cat, horses, those kind of animals that are purebred. Generally, purebred animals are usually, you get purebred animals by inbreeding. Okay, you get their cousins or, in worst case scenario, their siblings to breed with each other, and then you get this purebred dog. That's why purebred animals also have higher genetic disorder. Okay, incidence of genetic disorder. Any questions? No? Okay. So we talked about the Huntington's disease. Now, the blood type. Now, sickle cell anemia is not part of our current syllabus. However, it was in the old syllabus. You still can see this in the practice packages that I've given you. Okay, you still see it, but the logic is the same as the blood type stuff. I will spend the time on the blood type stuff. I'm not going to spend the time on sickle cell. You can read it and do questions. It's not hard. Okay, blood type. Now, blood type, it is an example of a codominance genetic disease, genetic condition. I've shown you on the video already. I have on this, there are two videos related to it. One of them is just talking about there's more than two different types of alleles. Basically, this gene has more than two forms. There are more than two forms for the gene, so that's why it's multiple alleles. Also talk about this one as an example. So if you don't follow what I was talking about in class, you do have these two videos to look at. So to make this quick, for the blood type, you have this allele have three forms of alleles. You have 3 forms of gene. 3 forms of the gene, essentially alleles. You have it's kind of IB related in some ways. Capital I, A. You have IA. You have your IB. I'm not joking. Small I, and that's it. No, thank goodness, no. There's no EE and TOK. These are the notations that your IB syllabus requires you to know. There are 3 forms of this allele, and from these 3 forms of these allele gives 4 different types of blood type. So you have 4 blood types. If you think about 4 blood types, would they be genotypes or phenotypes? No. Phenotype. Phenotypes. So for phenotype, what kind of blood type can you get? A, B, O, AB. Oh, that's good. Now, if you have these are phenotypes, which corresponding to the following. Now, couple of things. These 2, the IA and IB, these are dominant, noted by the capital letters. This here, it's recessive. These essentially code for the different type of antigens you have on the surface, I believe, on your red blood cell, but do need to look at that note again. Okay. So if you have phenotype, who knows their blood type?
Oh.
Okay, you don't need to say it right now. Who has blood type A?
I don't know about that.
You don't know? Doesn't matter if you know. Okay. So if you have blood type A, chances are you will have 2 IAs, or you have 1 IA and a small I. Okay? Those are your genotypes. So if you have blood type A, you have possibly these 2. If you have blood type B, any blood type B? I do. Okay, doesn't matter. No one cares. IB, or IB and a small I. Anyone have blood type AB?
Aaron does.
You're just randomly volunteering the other person. If you have blood type AB, you only have 1 genotype. You must have a big IA and a big IB. There's only 1 possibility. So this is still heterozygous, but dominant. Blood type O. Who has blood type O? You. Okay, good. You are both. You only have homozygous recessive. You have 2 small I alleles. What it also means is this. It's not exactly boring. Now, what happens is this. Slightly off, hi guys, slightly off the syllabus, but it wasn't the old syllabus. I believe might be related. People who have blood type O, which means they don't code for any antigens, their blood. Now, hi guys, look up here. If you have, hi guys, if you are blood type A, if you have type A blood, which means your cells have type A antigens on your cells. If you have other antigens, so someone else donate blood to you, which does not have the type A antigen, your body will react to it, and chances are you will die very quickly. So, in this case, if you are type A blood, you can only receive type A blood. If you're type B blood, again, you can receive type B blood, but not A. Not A. So type A blood, you can't receive type B blood. Type B blood, you can't receive type A blood. Now, type AB blood, if you're type AB, blah blah. If you are type AB blood, what it means is that your body actually has both antigens already. Your body is used to both antigen already. So what it means is that type AB blood people can receive blood from other AB people, can receive blood from type A people, type B people, and also type O people, because type O people don't make any antigens. And speaking of which, type O, because their cells don't produce the antigens on their cells, which means none of the blood cells will have those antigens, which means their blood can be given to everybody. Okay? Type A blood can receive blood from type A and O, but just not B. Type O blood can receive blood from O. Okay? However, type O blood people, if they need blood, they can only receive it from other type O people. So this is the reason why, because type AB people, blood type people, can receive it from everybody. We call these people special. Universal. No, type AB, receiver. They can receive it from everyone, whereas type O people, you can give it or donate to people, everyone, so you can universal donor.
I give you my blood.
Okay? Questions? Now, in terms of blood type and where they are located around the world is rather interesting. You can look up where different regions of the world have which predominant blood type. It is rather interesting. There are actually more blood type than just these four, but for the syllabus sake, I'm only talking about these four. Okay? There's a plus and minus. There's other things with it too. Yeah, there are actually, I remember reading an article talking about this guy who has this really rare blood type elsewhere. And if he gets into a car accident,
You'll die.
yeah, don't know. So in this case, you will need to know how to do Punnett square with this. Okay. Okay, so let's say I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. I thought you were mad.
Me too.
Loading. It's loading. So, phenotype. So let's just say the male is type B, and you don't know the symbols?
That one's male, right?
Isn't it the one?
Yeah, the one has an arrow is a male.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see.
Okay?
Is it?
Oh my god.
Okay, guys, boys, if you really need to, something that can point up, okay?
I know.
Something that points up.
You didn't really have to say that.
Wait, is that really why?
No.
That's really
No, I mean, that's not. Think about it, that kind of looks.
Okay, hi guys. Shh. Shh. Oh my goodness. If it is history, hi. The historical reason why these symbols are given is because this was symbolized by, if you study Greek mythology, the Greek and Roman gods, this is the symbol for the god Mars, because Mars is a god of war, his shield and spear. This is the symbol after the goddess Venus, Venus is a goddess of beauty, so this is her mirror. Okay? Yes, I know. Back in the days, girls look at mirrors too. So, but for our sake, if you can't think of which one is which, things that goes up. That's a guy, okay? My goodness. You won't forget, right? Would you forget after this? You're not gonna forget after this. Done. Shh. Okay, so let's just say the dad is. Shh. Let's just say the dad is blood type B, and the mom is blood type AB. What's the genotype? What's their possible genotypes? What's a possible genotype for mom? IA and IB. There's one possibility. For the dad, can have what? IB, or IB, small I. Okay, that's good. So, I want you to do Punnett square for both scenarios. So in this case, again, dad's on top, mom's on the side. IB, IA, IB. So in this case, if the dad has a genotype homozygous IB, so in this case, all the offspring will either be IA, IB. So all the offsprings will either be IAIB, which is type AB blood, or hi guys, or IB, which is type B blood. Okay? Also another scenario. So in this case, you have 50-50 chance, okay? 50-50 chance. You get 50-50 because out from these 4 boxes, 2 of them are IAIB, so it's 2 out of 4, 50% chance. And 2 out of 4 is IB, so it's 50% chance. For if the dad is IB, small I, and then the mom on the side, IA, IB. Now in this case, you have a little bit of variety, you have a little bit of difference, but not quite. You can, I'm just going to fill out this Punnett square right now. You have more of a possibility from this scenario. You can have, same thing, IAIB. Now look up here. So in terms of IAIB, up from 4 these boxes, you have 1 out of 4, which is 25% chance, IAIB, which is type AB blood. You have an IBIB as well as an IB small I. So in this case, you have 50% chance of type B blood. Do you guys follow so far? Because out from these 2 boxes, both of them will code for type B blood. So in this case, you have 50% chance of a kid having a type B blood. And you have this 1 box of IAO. So in this case, you have 1 out of 4, 25% chance of having a type A blood kid. Questions? Melanie, question?
I don't get what's going on.
Which part? Here?
Yeah.
The type A blood? Because the percentages comes from, there are 4 scenarios. When these people have kids, there are 4 scenarios. Each time there's 4 scenarios. for the type A blood, you have only one of these 4 boxes will give you type A blood. So in this case, 1 out of 4 is 25%. You have 2 possible cases. One box here which codes for type B. This box also codes for type B, so you have 50% chance of having a kid that have the type B blood. You have 1 out of 4 chances of having kids with this genotype, which gives type AB blood. Do you guys follow so far?
Yes.
So let's just say, to make things fun, if the couple have a type O blood kid, can a type O blood kid happen in this scenario?
No, you can never have this. No. Yes. No.
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 No, but like from
No.
other research,
No.
from what I read, there are
No.
more
No.
other factors. That's why I read it. Like one of the parents,
Was alive.
like when their baby came out, like I believe the mother was like an AB and the father was like a B, and their child was a blood type O. They both like suspected each other, like thinking that either
Where did you read it?
it was a science club.
Okay. I would personally want to. Hi. I would personally like to read that article myself and check it up.
I'll find it.
I would check it up. At the moment, if you see a question like this on the tests, the answer is no. It's highly unlikely that it would be the case. Okay? So, these are kind of questions that could be asked on the exam. They would ask for, like, what are the chances of people having, this couple will have certain type of kids? Questions? Okay? Any questions of that? So, we talk about blood type, and this is a sample calculation. Now, we're going to talk about X-linked conditions. X-linked conditions. Now, about X-linked conditions, are you done, Melon?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, about X-linked conditions, remember, you have 20, my picture is not here anymore. I was so happy about that.
That was smooth.
Okay. I have here,
What?
I ripped it accidentally. Hi. Shh. So, again, you have total of, you have 23 pairs of chromosomes. The last pair, the sex chromosomes, that determines your X and, well, that determines whether you're a boy or a girl. Now, the rest of them, the other 23 pairs are what we call autosomal chromosomes. Autosomal chromosomes. Now, the sex chromosome, look at the X chromosome and the Y chromosome. We talked about this in class before. What's the difference between the X and the Y chromosome? One very thing that stands out, and not because I need to do office update. Goodness. Y is shorter. Y chromosome is a lot shorter, which means there are genetic information in the X chromosomes, which, if you're a boy, you only get that copy of information from, who gave you that X chromosome if you're a boy? Your mom. Really? Your dad? So who gave you the Y chromosomes then? So in this case, you get your X chromosome if you're a boy from your mom. Now, a lot of these, what we call sex-linked conditions, are quite important because sex-linked conditions, we're only talking about the ones that are in, hi guys, in the Y chromosomes, in the X chromosome, simply because X chromosome, Y chromosome, shorter. So there are a lot of information coded in here that is not available in the Y chromosomes. Okay? Said that many times already. So this section here, of the X chromosome. We don't have that in the Y chromosome. So it means, since, now a very common exam question is asked, why is it that boys or male are generally more susceptible or vulnerable to sex-linked conditions than female? The reason why is this. Since male is XY, right? So it means you have one copy of this X chromosome, whereas girls, females, you have XX, you have two copies. The whole idea is this: if the male, now let's go with females first. Females is a little bit easier to explain with this case. So in this case, you have two X chromosomes. If one of them is containing a allele, a recessive allele that will cause a genetic disorder, doesn't matter. You have you have two copies. One of them, the other one will hopefully not be recessive, and you will not have the condition. If you're a boy, you only have that one X chromosome. If that chromosome contains a disorder which is recessive in nature, you don't have another one to hopefully cover it up. That is the reason why. The two disorder that we are talking about in this syllabus, one of them is hemophilia. Hemophilia. What do you think hemophilia is related to? Think about. Say again?
Eyes.
Not eyes. Blood, thank you. Hemo is
Oh, hemoglobin.
hemoglobin. Yay! Blood. Okay? Philia means like or loving. So it is actually a condition. No, you're not vampires. Hemophilias are not vampires. They don't love blood. It's just, unfortunately, those people, when they start bleeding, they have a really hard time stopping bleeding. It's a very dangerous condition. Hemophilia, as well as red-green color blindness. Red-green color blindness. I'm going to talk about the hemophilia one quickly, based on the time. Hemophilia, it is a classic example of sex-linked genetics, sex-linked genetic disorder. The symbol is this. You always, in the sex-linked one, since it's always on the X chromosome, you will draw a big X, and you put the allele on the top like a superscript, like a power to exponent in math. So you put it here. So if you have X with a capital H, which means you're normal. If you're capital X and you have small h, which means you will have the hemophiliac gene or allele. Allele. Good? Now, because it is a sex-linked one, so let's talk about the genotype and phenotypes, what you can get. Okay? Wait, okay, I'll move it down like this. So in this case, you have a number of possibilities. A, you're male or female. Okay? Males, females. So males, X, Y. Females, you have XX. So females, you can have a number of possibilities. Let's start with the females. So you can have both of them, capital H, which means that person, that lady, will be healthy female. You could have, girls have, one of them, you might be capital H, the other one is small h. What this girl would have is healthy female, but yes, she carries that allele. She carries the hemophiliac gene. Healthy female carrier. Women can, on a much rare chance you have 2 small h's, then in this case you'll be hemophiliac. Hemophilia ends with an A. That's a disorder. Hemophiliac. I think IC or ICA. Is it ac?
Or is it like a hydrophilic? Is it hydrophilic and
It's the same idea. I'm trying to see the spelling.
Is it hemophiliac?
Yeah, how do you spell yak?
Liac.
AC. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Oh, they are lilacs. Hey guys. Shh. So, look up. Hemophiliac, female. For us, however, for male, so those are the possible phenotypes and possible genotypes for females for hemophilia. For males, you don't have that much options because you only have really one X. So either you have a capital H that your mom gave you, in this case you're a healthy male with an H, or you have unfortunately one small h that your mom also gave you, then you have hemophiliac male. Do you guys follow so far?
Yes.
So, a very common exam questions. Vicky, good? Questions? A very common exam question. Let's just say a healthy male decide to marry this lady that is a carrier. So what will be the chances of their kids having hemophilia? Okay, very common question. What?
1 out of 4.
Well, we'll do it. We'll do the Punnett square. We'll find out. Don't just randomly throw numbers. So you will need to write out the genotype. Healthy male, female carrier. So big H, small h, big H. Or Y don't have the allele for that. Again, do a simple Punnett square. Guys on top, mom on the side. Now guys, you have an X, you have a Y. So one column will be the X, the other one will be for the Y. Same thing for the girls. One H, one X. Okay. In this case, you do the Punnett square. So after that, you find out that from all these 4 possibilities, is this person healthy?
Yes.
Yes, healthy. Okay, healthy male. This person healthy?
Yes.
Healthy female. This person? Healthy carrier female. This one?
No.
Hemophiliac. Hemophiliac. Yes. Time. Yes. Hemophiliac female. So this is again 25% chance. Good? So today we have covered hemophiliac as well as codominance. We'll do pedigree chart next lesson. Okay? Do your homework.
Okay.